13th, we have a pitchfork and a garbage bag. It's not the recreation of the movie. It's garden time. Kathy Carpenter from the University of Illinois Extension is here, Master Gardener. We're putting the garden to bed. We're done for the season.
Well, pretty much.
Okay.
I mean, there's a few things over here, but for the most part, I think it's time to start talking about why it's better to get your garden ready for spring in the fall than it is to wait till spring. Because as you know, spring is always a very, very busy time, and you're busy with flowers and pruning and cutting your new lawn and that sort of thing. You don't want to deal with it.
So what do we need to do?
I've noticed from my diggings in here before that this garden still has a bit of problem with the what I call tilth, which is the flakeability, shall we say, of the soil, so that it isn't clay, it's good dirt, but it just doesn't seem to be friable enough. So I went over to Radio Road and I got some of this compost. Actually, it's more mulch than it is compost. I'm just going to dump it in for right now, and I'm going to spread it around. It's really mostly tree chippings and that sort of thing, so it'll take a while to break down, and I'll get, of course, the bigger stuff I'll pull out, but and then I'll work it into the soil. And that will help over the winter. Let's see, we don't want these things
does this serve as like a blanket, or are we fertilizing the ground? What is the purpose of this?
What we're doing is we're going to mix more organic matter, which this is, into the existing dirt. Over the winter, and this is a good reason to do it now, it will begin to break down even further, and you'll have a lot more nutrients in the soil in the spring. Another thing, because fall means falling leaves. Now, don't kill your radishes here.
Oh, where were the radishes?
Right there.
Oh no, I've covered the radishes.
Yes, you did.
I've ruined the garden.
No. I just figured since I planted them and they are growing nicely that we just leave them until we can.
And you figure since there's something green growing from the ground that I would know that not to cover that.
Not necessarily. It could have been weeds, but they were in rows, you know. At any rate, what we'll do, what you can do in the fall when the leaves come down again, is that the instead of bagging them up or taking them to the side of the road,
make them compost.
Put them, run your garden, your mower over them to break them up and dig them into the ground.
Tegan, just go ahead. Garden and do the weather while you're gardening. This is why I don't do these garden segments, right?
This is exactly why we kind of leave this.
It was all polite before, but now we know the real reason.
We are wrapping this up. Now, we work so hard with it all year long. Now, all season long. Now, what do we need to do when we are wrapping up our gardens for the season?
Well, I've done the initial digging up, except for the little patch of the radishes, and mixed in the mulch, taking out any larger bits of sticks and such. And then we're going to let nature do her thing here over the winter. Now, there are some people who just can't bear not to garden. So there are still a couple things that you can plant if you wanted to. Which means this time of year, any of the lettuces you can plant. Well, not the romaine so much unless you're looking for just leaf lettuce. But the leaf lettuces are all good. Spinach is good. And in October, for you fiends for garlic, that's when the garlic gets planted.
I am a garlic fiend. So November is the month.
October is the month. And you put them in the ground and you let them sit all winter. They'll probably sprout for you in late fall, but that's okay. They can go right through snow, ice, whatever, with little green shoots, and boy, will they be off to a running start in the spring.
Now, really quick, earlier we kind of showed everyone what they need to do to kind of put the garden to bed, and we threw some, this is organic.
Yeah, it's basically a wood mulch, but it's fine enough that most of it will break down over the winter.
And so what is this doing for the garden?
Well, it's going to add texture to the garden. It's also going to add, as it breaks down, nutrients to the garden. And the other thing is by loosening up this soil, you've also gotten weed seeds to the surface. Now, that means they're going to sprout, but that's good because you get the weed seeds when they're small and when you don't have that much else to do, and you can just keep ahead of them and get them all pulled out. So you have much less of a weed problem in the spring when you get started in your garden again.
All right, well, if people want to get some more tips from you, what do they need to do, Kathy?
Well, call the extension. in. The extension has my number, and they can give their number and ask me to call them back.
All right.
But we have lots of other experts at the extension, too. They might even be able to get the answer faster if they talk to one of them.
All right, well, thank you so
no
much for all
problem.
season for helping
It's
us
been
out,
my
Kathy. It's
pleasure.
been such a blast. Well, for more information on all the gardening, you can check out our website, connecttristates.com. We'll be right back after this break with your news fix.